Hello and welcome to today's Workshop Wednesday, where I'm going to be discussing RootNode, a simple, powerful, and collaborative server for building React Native backends and websites. So what do I mean by simple? I mean that you can have your backend up and running in seconds. You don't need to do any infrastructure work. You don't need to work with Docker or Kubernetes, or you don't need to set up your own VPS. We handle all that for you. That's the simple part. And it is simple for you to get set up, but it is also simple for you to work with. We've done a lot of the work that goes behind the scenes to Hello and welcome to today's Workshop Wednesday, where I'm going to be discussing RootNode, a simple, powerful, and collaborative server for building React Native backends and websites. So what do I mean by simple? I mean that you can have your backend up and running in seconds. You don't need to do any infrastructure work. You don't need to work with Docker or Kubernetes, or you don't need to set up your own VPS. We handle all that for you. That's the simple part. And it is simple for you to get set up, but it is also simple for you to work with. We've done a lot of the work that goes behind the scenes to deploy your application and to keep your code up to date. We're doing it all on the back end for you. That's the simple part. It's powerful because this VPS that it runs on is top tier. This is a premium server. It can handle hundreds of simultaneous requests, and it's not going to cost you any extra money. When you have more users, you just simply let it scale and you're good to go. Until you start to get to this galactic scale where you need to have millions of people supported at once, until you become LinkedIn or Twitter.com, this is pretty good for you. This will handle the load just fine. It is powerful. It is simple. It is also collaborative. That means that multiple people can work on the same code at the same time. Collaborative, meaning that we can both edit the code in the same editor without being on the same system. It's a pair coding dream. Great for mob coding, pair coding, however many people you want. It can handle it. I've tested it up to 4 people. I think it should be able to support 32 simultaneous people. So if you were running some kind of a student setting, this would be ideal for that, for a classroom. All right. We designed this to build, launch, and collaborate fast. Just open your browser and start coding. Check out our live demo to see browser-based coding and collaboration.
Real-time collaboration. Conflict resolution. All better online in seconds. Just press Command-Shift-B.
Pretty good. So you could see the conflict resolution, you could see the collaboration, and you could see the ease of deployment. And that was one of the features that I absolutely had to have in here. When I'm coding some backend, I really don't want to have to wait a long time to see changes in code. I want instant feedback. I want iteration to happen fast. I do not want to waste time in debug loops trying to solve whatever problem I'm working on. It's just gotta go. It's just gotta be snappy. I want my focus to be on the front end. I'm not a back end developer. I'm a front end developer, and I love to make beautiful apps. So you gotta have a fast back end to do that. And that's what this is. So here are the features of our all-in-one platform for modern web development. A Node.js web app. That means you're running Express with TypeScript. No weird runners, no Vercel or any other like custom built thing that kind of takes your app and then mushes it together with hundreds of other apps and charges you by the number of requests. No, this is just Node.js running in the cloud, full stop. Then web server, that's different from a web app. A web server, in this case being Nginx, serving files, lightning fast, no overhead, just immediately getting to files if they exist on the server and serving them up. If they don't, proxy over to the web app. That's how that works. Then the code server. When you want to edit the code, you don't want to have to fire up VS Code and Docker, and you don't have to fire up all this environment variables. You just go to our code server and you begin editing there. So if you're somebody that's setting up your own platform and you want to revive your backend a little bit and change some parameters, you can do that without having to set up a full development environment. That's one of the powers of the code server. Don't have to worry about Git deployment. It's all there in the code server. Then SQL database. All of this sits on top of. It's your own private SQL database. It is MySQL by default. We could do a custom build with Postgres if you really needed. Maybe SQL Server. You just have to change the environment variables and point it at your own database if you don't want to use ours. But ours is baked in and available at no extra cost. And those are the pieces of a full stack application that you just have to be able to build. And now that you've seen the preview, let us log in and see the root node in action. I'm going to start a new private Chrome tab, just so that I have to log in. So we go to code dot and then the name of your root node subdomain. In this case, I have one already set up called Safari. So code.safari.rootnode.app will take us to the code editor. If I go to safari.rootnode.app, you see the web page that's already hosted here. I go to code, it's going to prompt me to log in. And I encourage you to use GitHub to sign in. That's the easiest way. With email, you might have to go dig in your spam box. But sign in with GitHub is my recommendation. You click sign in, you go through the flow. I'm probably going to get asked to do this. Let's see. Got a sign in request. The digits. Okay, and now I've logged in and the code server begins to load. At first, it kind of blinds you with the default light mode, And here you are. This is just VS Code right here, and you trust the author. It's running on our server, so you don't need to really worry about that. There's no chance that anything bad will happen to you. You can pick whatever theme you like. You can blind yourself. You can go high contrast. You can go with the default that everybody seems to like. And you're in. Here's the code server. You see we've got the web server files here. This is app, where our Node.js app is running. These are just some placeholder files. I've already built an app here, so there's something already here just to look at. And but by default you would just have nothing, and you could begin to set up. So I have a index.tx loading our .env, and every 60 seconds I have a heartbeat, or 10 times 60 times 1,000. That's every 10 minutes actually. And that's just some code that's running here, and it's running on the port. So the port gets assigned to you when the root node gets set up. I don't think you would want to change that. So how to get started with this is, once you've logged in, you click on the root node extension here in the sidebar. I don't know if you can see that, it's pretty small. Let me make this bigger. So here you've got your extensions: root node, testing, debugging, branching, searching, file explorer. And within our root node extension, we just have the tasks that are available for root node. I really like to make this a little more like branded with some streamlining here, but for now we just have a menu of items that you can do, and among them are the ability to run your Node app as a service, so it just never stops. If it crashes, it restarts. You don't have to worry about it going offline or anything when you turn off the code server. But it has another mode, it has a debug mode that you can turn on. So let me do that. So when I click debug, terminal pops up, the app starts to run in debug mode. You may have to do an npm install here. No. You know what it is? This is something that I always forget. Before you can start the app in debug mode, you need to deploy the app, because the app runs on the server. So you click deploy app. I'm going to have to list this as a bug. If you click debug and there's no app on the server, it should automatically deploy. That's a really nice feature to have, and I'm just going to write that down. Deploy app when clicking debug, and there is no app on server. And what the deploy script does is it runs tmux, and it packages everything into the dist folder, and it copies it over to the apps folder, into our app is called actually, I don't know. I think it might actually be here that we see that our app directory is not correct, because I copied this. I'm going to change it. No, this is right. This is right. This is absolutely right. We should have a folder here called safari.rootnode.app. There it is. CD Safari app. Oops. We go to apps and safari.rootnode.app, and then you see this is where the code deployed to, and it's index.jx and index.js map and node modules, and this is like the production version of the code. And when you look at it, you know that it's not going to be readable. It's all this uglified, minified JS, TypeScript turned into JavaScript. Very raw. But it's running. And you can see from the debug app. Click debug app. Click debug app, and the app debugger starts. This is running NodeMon in our cloud environment. I got all my emojis popping up. Listening on port 3031. And you'll see if I go to /health. Yes, okay, the app is running, and you see that in the log, incoming traffic, get health. Good, very good. Next up, so we talked about starting the app daemon, stopping the app daemon, but there's also deploy app. We talked about that. We talked about debug app. I skipped this one, deploy www. And what this does is anything in the www directory here, index.html, doomtruck.svg, all this stuff gets copied over to the www folder on the server. And when it's in the www folder here, it's not live. It's just, you know, it's just the code. It's not live. It's not on the server hosted yet. It's just private. But when you click deploy www, then it goes live. You click it, the script runs silently, and then it's done. Then finally, the last thing here that we have is the ability to query the database. Here we are. If you click query database, you'd immediately drop into MySQL terminal. You can see that there's no tables here. It's just an empty database for you to fill out however you want to. When you're using root node, you're in control. Within our v1ts, I think there might be some sample code or something like that. Nope, nothing here. And that's it. You know, that's it for those are all the features that we have. We've got Node.js, we've got Code Server, we've got SQL Server, MySQL daemon, excuse me, and we've got Web Server, all together, packaged neatly, set up and ready to go for you in root node. Currently in beta, available to educational institutions, available to businesses looking to get a head start on their product. We are ready to start taking customers. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.